depths of the segmentum obscurus, the remains of a long-forgotten Blood Angels battleship lie scattered throughout a sea of rot and detritus. Now, an elite Mechanicus Clade has been sent to retrieve the ancient, time-worn technology that lies within the wreck. As these bionic Adepts work tirelessly to recover all that they can, they find themselves beset by a band of time-ravaged sorcerers from beyond the warp itself. Can these disciples of Tzeench put an end to this critical salvage operation? Or will the Adepts of the Mechanicus achieve glorious victory by the will of their Omnissiah? Welcome to Mountainside Tabletop.
Hey there, welcome to Mountainside Tabletop. Thanks for joining us for another Kill Team Battle Report. Today, I'm going to be playing the White Dwarf rules for the AdMech Hunter Clade. I'm taking what might be a slightly unconventional selection of units in that I'm only going to have 3 Sicarians, and the rest will be made up of Skitarii. By sacrificing a Sicarian Princeps, I can take all 3 types of Skitarii Gunners, which I'm hoping will be invaluable against the sneaky and tanky Thousand Suns. In total, I'll have 3 Sicarian Infiltrators, 2 Skitarii Vanguard Shock Troopers, 1 Surveyor, 1 Alpha, and the entire range of Skitarii Gunners. As for equipment, I'm giving one of the Infiltrators Mecha Dendrite and Servo Skull, which essentially brings all of their interaction with the objectives down to 0 AP. I'm spending the rest of my points on Enrich Rounds and Uplink Vid Feed, which will buff my little guys a bit. Since my side got to the wreck first, I'll be defending.
Sup y'all, I'm Brad, and today I'm going to be playing a Thousand Suns kill team. Both of my fire teams will be Rubric Marine fire teams, and in total, once again, I'll only be using 5 operatives. I've got 2 Rubric Marine warriors, 1 Rubric Marine gunner with a Soul Reaper cannon, 1 Rubric Marine icon bearer, and my leader will be my aspiring sorcerer. I've got most of my equipment stacked onto my aspiring sorcerer. All-Seeing Eye lets me chain activations once per battle. Runic Ward, once per battle, can upgrade my leader's defense dice, and Mythic Scroll, once per battle, lets my aspiring sorcerer cast a free psychic action. For 2 more points, I've given my heavy gunner a Gargoyle Bayonet, which very, very marginally helps out his melee capabilities, although honestly, it's not very good. I just used it because there was nothing else to put the points into. For this battle, we're going to be using the Secure Archaeotech mission. That's a made-up word, but I hope I'm pronouncing it right.
It's totally made up. Pure fiction.
In this mission, operatives can use an action to disengage an objective, scoring 1 VP. Once disengaged, objectives can be picked up using another action. Any objectives being carried at the end of battle score 2 victory points each.
There are 6 objective markers throughout the kill zone, and the deployment takes place on the long edge of the map. For heavy terrain, we have the shattered battleship engine, along with some large dead trees, tall grass, and the remains of a rhino long stuck in the swamp. The ruined dreadnought, as well as these smaller plants, are all light terrain. A lot of this terrain we're using today is created by some really amazing artists who have posted their work on Thingiverse. They were 3D printed by Victor. Links to their work are in the description, and we highly encourage you to check it out and leave them a tip.
While setting up our operatives, I struggled as the defender. There were so many avenues and corridors to consider, so I decided to play defensively and keep myself out of harm's way as much as possible. I spent 1 CP on concealed position, so I was able to put this infiltrator way up the map in cover, to hopefully snag an early point.
I have a lot to consider with my Thousand Suns army as well. I blundered so hard last time before the first turning point even began, and I really didn't want to repeat that. I opted to set up all 5 of my operatives close together, well hidden, in hopes that I could take advantage of the Sorceress Automata strategic ploy, which gives all of my non-leader operatives an extra APL. Very strong. In the scouting phase, I selected Recon and Vic selected Infiltrate. This gives him a free dash and allows me to change the order of 1 unit in the first turning point. This also means that I get initiative. Next, Vic goes ahead and uses another pre-game tactical ploy, Pursuers, allowing him to perform 2 more free dashes with any ranger operatives.
In the strategy phase, neither of us played any ploys, and I declared the Protector Imperative. This gives me a little bit of a buff in shooting and a little bit of a nerf in fighting. After revealing my imperative, it automatically activates my faction tack-up number 2. Basically, if I score more wounds than Brad in any given turning point, I score a VP. If I switch my imperative and do it again, I get another one.
Next up, I reveal that I've chosen the Challenge tack-up. I want my heavy gunner to land the killing blow on Long Johnson here.
Hold on tight, because I'm feeling spicy. I revealed...
That's too good.
Because I now reveal challenge for my favorite unit, Long Johnson, to kill the very same gunner targeting him. Looks like we have a bit of a standoff.
Okay, so first activation of the game, and I'm gonna move this guy up to objective 6.
Now I'm going to activate the infiltrator that I put so far up during the setup phase. I dash to the objective, disengage it and pick it up for no AP because of my equipment, and then move away into cover. This puts 1 VP on the board pretty early.
Next up, I'm gonna move this Rubric Marine Warrior up behind the little bush thing and shoot at Vic's Scutari gunner. What's it called? A Scutari something or other? He's got a big gun anyway. I shoot. 3 hits, 1 saved. He's down to 1 wound.
So with 1 HP, this guy does not have long left on the board, so I fire back. Not supercharged, because if I roll a 1, I'd kill myself. So I roll 2 hits, Brad saves 1, he re-rolls, still sucks, down to 7 wounds.
But not yet injured. Now I'll move my leader up closer to objective number 6 and disengage it for 1 victory point and cast Immaterial Surge on my heavy gunner. This grants him 1 additional action for the turning point.
Now I'll move this Vanguard Shock Trooper and shoot one of Brad's Marines. 3 hits, all saved. Most of Brad's units save anything that does 3 or less damage on a 2, and so this feels a little bit like smashing my head against a brick wall at this point.
Damn right. Okay, I'm gonna move up my Icon Bearer and pick up objective number 6.
I once again move one of my little guys up and shoot. 1 hit, saved again. I am rapidly getting used to it.
Alright, my gunner moves up and shoots some shock troopers. Well, actually just 1 shock trooper. 3 hits with AP 1, 2 saved, down to 4 wounds.
My surveyor's going to disengage objective number 5 and pass the rest of his activation. That puts me up to 2 VP.
And after that, this Rubric Marine Warrior gets to Overwatch. He'll shoot against this shock trooper, 1 crit, 2 hits, crit and hit saved, 3 wounds, down to 1.
Just gonna move and dash my leader, get into a better position for the next turn.
This shock trooper with 1 wound has lived for long enough. My gunner shoots Overwatch and kills him. Crit and a hit both go through. Absolutely wrecked!
Alright, so for the rest of my activations, as long as I stay out of Overwatch, I'm good to do what I want. So I move my infiltrators both up to around objective number 3. Long Johnson holds on tight. And the arc rifle moved over to the broken down dreadnought.
And now, the grand reveal. I chose the execution tack-up. I don't get anything right now, but if I eliminate more enemies than Vic in any more turning points, I'll earn some VP.
To recap the first turning point, thanks to the ploys spent during the setup phase, I've secured 1 more objective than Brad, giving me a pretty slim lead in VP. This did come at the cost of him eliminating one of my shock troopers, so we'll have to see whether or not that works out. At the beginning of the second turning point, we both gain a CP and roll for initiative, which thankfully goes my way. With a couple of 1 HP units already, I need all the help I can get. My extremely wounded gunner shoots the 1 visible Rubric Marine. I supercharge, which means if I roll any 1s, I take 3 mortal wounds. With 1 HP left, you don't need a math degree to figure out what would happen. Luckily, I roll 3 hits, Brad only saves 1, and that does 10 wounds.
Ouch!
Dead.
I don't love that. At this point, I feel like it's time for a big turn. First, I activate my Aspiring Sorcerer and cast Immaterial Surge on my heavy gunner. Next, I move up toward objective number 2 and then cast Doombolt, passing my psychic test. Doombolt's fired and I kill a shock trooper. But I'm not done yet! I'm gonna pop All-Seeing Eye to let my gunner activate immediately before Victor can do anything. The gunner will dash and then shoot at the infiltrator near objective number 3. 2 crits and 4 normal hits. Vic only saves 1. That's 17 wounds. Unfortunately, he only had 10 wounds, so that's a lot of overkill.
Well, that was brutal, and the keen-eyed observer can see my watch in this and see that that was about 20 minutes of real-life torture. When my next activation finally rolls around, I move my arc rifle wielding gunner and shoot the aspiring sorcerer. I roll 4 hits, and he saves 1, and then just uses some equipment to save another one. 8 wounds go through, and he's down to 5. I then move and take some cover behind this shrubbery.
A shrubbery!
Okay, well I'm just gonna move this guy up and shoot your leader. 4 hits, only 2 saved. 6 wounds, down to 1 HP again?
1 HP, gang. I move my leader, and with his dying breath, I shoot Brad's leader. I roll 2 crits and a hit, and Brad only saves the hit. 9 wounds go through, and he's dead. At this point, I reveal Headhunter and get 2 victory points.
First of all, how dare you? Second of all, I'm gonna move my icon bearer forward and shoot at your gunner with a plasma caliver. 1 hit, no saves.
At this point, I debated for about 2 minutes on whether or not I should use a CP to reroll, which I do. Luckily, I get a save.
No wounds again? 1 HP? Are you kidding me?
Lucky.
Alright then, well I'm just gonna spend another CP as well and use Infernal Fusillade. That means, because no wounds went through, I get to make the whole attack over again. 1 hit, 1 crit, 7 wounds go through. This guy is finally dead.
It is incredibly tilting to use one of my last 2 command points on a reroll, actually succeed on a 4-up save, and then just have it all get undone with that ridiculous rule.
Haters gonna hate!
Haters are gonna hate, and I am a hater. Filled with righteous indignation, my infiltrator charges Brad's heavy gunner. 3 crits and a hit go through. Brad rolls a crit and parries 1 normal hit. The rest goes through for 10 wounds. The gunner is down to just 2.
Time for Overwatch again. My warrior is gonna shoot Vic's leader. 1 hit goes through, but it's saved.
I move my surveyor and shoot Brad's icon bearer. Roll a crit and a hit, and they're both, of course, saved.
More Overwatch. My icon bearer shoots Vic's leader. Ya dead!
With his last breath, amid the sounds of gunfire, screams, the clicks and whirs of adept machines, my leader musters his final words. Like and subscribe. Click the notification button. Leave us a comment about what armies you want to see next.
At this point, I reveal Headhunter, and like Vic, I get 2 VP.
Alright, well with my last 2 activations, I move Mr. Long Johnson and switch him to a conceal order, and then I move this infiltrator and disengage objective number 3 to bring my victory point total all the way up to 5.
So, in turning point number 2, the fighting really broke out. We both landed some good punches, but I was able to eliminate more units than Vic was, securing me a future victory point with execution. I also did more wounds, denying Vic a victory point. Although I am behind in victory points, it's hard to say who is winning here. We both definitely have some good opportunities and traps ahead.
At the beginning of the 3rd turning point, we both gain 1 CP, and Brad wins a pretty crucial initiative roll. He chooses malicious volleys, making his shooters even scarier, and I change my imperative to equalize. No more buffs, no more nerfs.
So, turning point number 3. I will move my warrior up and shoot O. Long Johnson. I roll 1 crit and 2 hits. Vic only saves 1, although he chooses to spend a CP and reroll. Now he saves 2. 4 wounds go through, and O. Long Johnson only has 3 HP remaining. He's wounded.
At this point, I use the tactical ploy Motive Force Vitality, so I regain D3 wounds on O. Long Johnson. I roll a 5, and that brings him up to 6 wounds. Crucially, he's no longer injured. Now I'll shoot one of Brad's Marines. I roll 3 hits, and despite a reroll, Brad only saves 1. 10 wounds go through, and that operative is down to 2.
Fine then, I can shoot back. 3 hits, 1 autosave, 1 rolled save, 4 wounds. O. Long's down to 2 wounds. Well, I can shoot again with malicious volleys. You know what, actually, I think I should have started by shooting the Surveyor because he hasn't activated yet. Rather than lean into my misplay and misplay further, I'll switch the second shot to the Surveyor. 1 crit, but the crit's saved, no damage. Now, Vic's arc rifle gunner peeks out from behind the shrubbery and shoots my icon bearer. 1 crit and 3 hits. I save a crit and a hit, but 8 wounds go through. That brings my icon bearer down to 4 wounds. Yikes, I think things are looking pretty bad here. My gunner was stunned in the previous turning point, and because of that, he only has 1 APL. He can't fall back. It's probably suicide to fight, but I'm so far behind here, I think I have to take the very slim chance that I might kill him. After all the fighting's done, 4 wounds go through on the infiltrator, but 3 wounds kill the gunner. I'm down to 2 Marines.
With the blood of Brad's heavy gunner still clouding his weird cybernetic lenses, the infiltrator charges the next Marine. After an excellent roll, I kill him.
Okay, well I guess I'll overwatch against Oolong Johnson. 3 crits, 1 saved. 8 wounds go through. Oolong is finally dead.
With my last 2 activations, I move a couple units and pick up a couple objectives. So this turning point felt like exactly that, a turning point. I finally managed to score more wounds than Brad and picked up a couple more objectives. More importantly, the dice gods were very much in my favor. A lot of what we both went for was high risk, high reward, and luckily I got away the better.
Going into Turning Point 4, it's not looking good for me, but I'm not about to concede in my second battle report in a row. Well, we both gain a CP, we roll for initiative, and Vic wins. I spend a CP on malicious volleys once again, but Vic does not use any.
With my first activation, I charge Brad's icon bearer. Decent rolls, and I kill him. Once incapacitated, Brad's last unit drops his only held objective. My win is now secured. I'm able to move and pick up another objective, but at this point it's all moot. Brad gets 1 more VP from execution, bringing his total to 4, and mine is up to 13. I'm trying my hardest not to sound smug here, but it does get difficult winning so much.
Well, thanks so much everyone for sticking around and watching me lose again. Of course, if you like what you've seen so far and want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I didn't get nearly enough flaming toward my gameplay in the comments from the last video. You were all very supportive, but I kind of deserve it, so tell me why I lost. See you next time!